Thanks so much for tuning in to Mom Boss Chronicles. My name is Jen.
This is Sue.
And this is Danielle.
We are three moms that work together in real estate and are good friends, and here to talk to you about fun topics, the good, the bad, the ugly of mom struggles, real estate, and other fun stuff. So make sure to subscribe to listen to more. Welcome back, everyone, to Mom Boss Chronicles. Today we have a really special guest, Kelly Sater. She is a writer and content creator and a mom of three girls.
Yeah.
You have,
Yeah.
So I'm sure you have a lot of content there.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah.
You have a 14-year-old and then twin 11-year-olds.
I have a 14, almost 15-year-old, and then, twin 11-year-olds, three girls.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And the twins are identical. So, yeah.
What a handful that
Oh
was.
my gosh, yeah. Yes.
Did you always know you wanted to be like a writer? And
So I wanted to be a comedian when I first started. I was 19 when I started stand-up comedy, and I really hated writing. Like, I did very poorly in English. Like, it was a class I always struggled with. And then I had my daughter at 22. So...
But you were doing stand-up at 19.
Yeah, I was doing stand-up at 19.
That's amazing. Was it super scary?
I feel like I don't want to say there's something wrong with me, but there's definitely like something like missing where like, yeah, I'm like nervous when I do it, but like the drive and the want to do it is like way more than me being nervous. Yeah.
Where were like some of the first places you started to do stand-up at?
It was called the Improv Comedy Club in New York, and now it's called the Broadway Comedy Club, which is really lovely. It's a really great group of people. And I started with, it's called bringer shows, where literally you have to bring like 8 to 10 guests.
Oh, that's cool. That's really neat.
I didn't know anything about, like, I was 19 years old. I just like randomly emailed, and I was like, hey, what do you guys have? And they're like, come do this show and bring every single person you know.
You have a big family, so
Yeah, I have a big family. Yeah, so they showed up. They were like, yes, we're definitely coming. And yeah, and it went really well. Like, I wrote it like 2 days before, which is not what you're supposed to do.
You love it?
Oh my God, it was addicted immediately. So I still do it like from time to time because I can. Yeah. Oh, plug. I have a show coming up, guys.
Where is it?
So I'm going to pull up my phone. I'm sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry if you get feedback on the phone.
You're fine.
I just took a picture of the thing.
Has it been a while?
I love stand-up.
So I actually, oh my God, I'm plugging so many things, guys. This is your podcast, but I'm going to plug like
No,
crazy.
I love this.
That's why you're here.
Okay, so my show's on March 27th. It's called Hot or Not Joke Lab, and it is at Capiche, 173 Mulberry Street. It's in New York. It'll be in Little Italy.
Oh my gosh, amazing.
Oh my God, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. It's a good group going up there.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's like it's like an interactive show where like the audience can like honestly tell you if they don't understand your joke. I think it's like they have like a flag, so like, and then you can just keep going, try to like fix it, skip it, or whatever. So it's like a cool little show that I'm really excited for 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
I actually am part of this conglomerate club. I don't know what it is. I should know because I'm here to plug it. It's called Gold Comedy, and it's all women and female identifying non-binary comedians, and it's across the country. And that's who I do a lot of video with now. I'm on a sketch team called Just So You Know. It's a news-based team, but you asked a question and I forgot what it was. Oh, am I still doing comedy? Yes. So I do a lot of comedy through them. So there was like a huge like virtual class. It was really fun.
Funny take on the news?
Yeah. So Just So You Know is news and funny take on the news, but Just So You Know is like part of Gold.
Okay.
So there's a lot of just like not regular, but straight up sketch teams, and there's a web series team, and they all make video content.
That's awesome.
And then it's all networking opportunities and classes, and it's just all about like female comedy development. Like the goal is to just have more female professional comedians like across the board in every aspect of comedy. Yeah.
Who's your favorite comedian?
My favorite comedian, that is really rough. I really love Jim Gaffigan. He's like one of my favorites. We just saw Mark Normand at the Beacon Theater, and he is like probably the best joke writer there is. Just like hands down incredible. And I like should be naming women.
No. It must be either way.
For you, then, like when you're in that circuit and world that you get to meet these people that you like.
What's really funny is, so when I had Allison, I was still doing comedy. I was doing comedy with a lot of people who have really broke and made it now. Like Mark Norman was somebody I did comedy Pete Davidson, I did comedy contests with. Ali Wong, I did comedy shows with. Yeah.
That's so cool.
And they're all lovely. It's always great to see like the loveliest people make it. Though nobody's ever a dick.
Like super supportive.
The people who are good are not dicks. People who are mean to you, you don't go further. And it's
like
that's everything, right?
Karma.
It's like you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this so much.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
So then you were doing the comedy clubs, and then did you get into writing after you had your daughter?
So when I had my daughter, basically with stand-up and with anything, like if you're not doing it multiple times per week, you're really not growing. And for stand-up, you have to be on stage.
At night too, right? So yeah.
Which for a while, it's like, okay, well, at least my husband's working the day. I can do it at night. But I mean, like, when you have little kids, it's like, I can't even shower today. So I'm going to get him on a stage. So I just started writing writing and taking sketch classes. And I hated writing scripts because I never thought I was good at writing. But that was the only thing that I could do with my time.
Yeah.
And that ended up taking off, which was really cool.
And then you enjoyed it.
Yes, I did enjoy it. I really was desperate to produce a video. I was like, I love video. I have no idea how to do this or anything. Awesome. And this was like before you had like studios like this and stuff like that. And like phones had video. So it's like, well, I don't even know what camera to get. Like, what am I supposed
to do? Start, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I took a class at UCB, which is the Upright Citizens Brigade Comedy School in New York that closed over COVID and now is back open. It was Amy Poehler's like original comedy group. Yeah. I have so many thoughts on that, which let's edit that part. But, I met this woman, Erin, who was a producer, and she liked one of my sketches, and she's like, I actually want to produce this video. And I was like, please, like, I don't know how to do that. Like, would you do this with me? And so we put that together, and that was a sketch that did really well. It was called Even Again. It was just like a fake commercial about like medicine to help you even again when you can't even. This was like 10 years ago, guys. Like it was very funny and very hot at the time it came out.
Hilarious.
So that's when I just like really fell in love with video and just like being on set and all that stuff. So.
And then you helped produced Up All Night, right?
Oh, I'm gonna toot my own horn hard.
Do it.
I was the executive producer of Up Early Tonight.
Oh yeah, Up Early Tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
do you want to give the premise on?
I worked at ScaryMommy, which I applied at ScaryMommy multiple times because I was like, please, like I'm a mom and I'm funny, like we can do this together. Like, I want to do this with you. I could make a lovely like long story about how like working with women on these like side projects eventually is what led me to ScaryMommy. Like one of them finally like slid my resume over to the producer and was like, you should talk to this woman for like a random production role. And she called me up. We hit it off immediately. She's still one of my good friends to this day. Obsessed with her. She calls me to be like production manager, I think. And, we're talking. She's like, okay, so you've done production and stuff. I said, yeah, I do comedy. I said, when I'm not with my kids. And she goes, wait a second, you are a mom. And I said, yeah, I'm a mom. She goes, you're a mom. You do stand up. She's like, you know how to write sketches. You've done sketch production. She goes, have you done branded content, which is like advertising? And I said, yeah, I've done a couple of commercials here and there. And I write copy for commercials through like a couple of comedy networks. And she's like, we need someone to run our brand studio. I said, oh, okay, sure. And they ended up hiring me to do that, which was incredible. And I did that for 4 years. Wow. Tons of incredible projects, but Up Early Tonight was one of them.
Oh, wow. From ScaryMommy.
Yeah, from ScaryMommy.
That's awesome.
So we went to Huggies and said, we want to do a late night show for moms. Mm-hmm. And Huggies, thank God, said yes. I'm still actually really good friends with the woman at Huggies that we worked with on this. Mm-hmm. And I had gotten a new boss at that time who she didn't know me. I didn't know her. And she was like, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to do this late night show. And she goes, it's yours. Go.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was awesome. And very scary.
Yeah. So because it was a late night sketch show.
Yeah, it was a late night sketch show that originally was not supposed to be on Hulu. It was just going to be something that we would launch like wherever we could launch it.
Like social media?
Yeah, social media. Yeah. So January was when the deal closed. March 2020 happened. Everything shut down. Wow. And everyone was like, I don't think you're going to do this show, Kelly. And I said, no, I'm sorry. I'm going. The show is still going to happen. I was like, and that was basically the theme of it is we'll figure this out. And like so many things went wrong and like so many things like got in our way. And the host showed up the day of set and her COVID test like didn't arrive. Like there was just so many things that like went crazy, which just generally is production and just how do you get through that?
Yeah.
And we did, and it went up, and it's still the most fun I've had, the greatest project I've had, working with the greatest people. It was really cool.
Yeah, you had actors and you guys were doing like different sketch comedies.
Yeah, we did.
Right?
Yeah, we did like a whole.
I have to check it out.
Yeah.
It's still on Hulu, right?
I don't think you can see it on Hulu. I know you might not be able to find it now, which is so sad.
YouTube, I'm sure.
But
right?
Yeah.
I love that. The hook that got her was you telling her that you're a mom when usually it's the other way around. Oh, you have kids. You can't do this job.
And that has made, I think, all the difference in my entire career because they were all moms too. And like
That's
to be able to
incredible.
work like that with women who took comedy so seriously and who were also mothers and who were just like genius women in their own right and just like fun people.
Yeah.
It was lovely. So it's like everybody who obviously family was first for everybody
get it, yeah.
across the board. They got it.
Yeah.
So like snow days, like kids sick. So like I remember we had a big shoot coming up. Not big, but like obviously like extremely my responsibility to be there. My daughter was sick, and I like called the boss. And I was like, "I'm so sorry, my daughter's sick." She's like, "Don't even think about it."
Yeah.
She's like, "You have to, your family comes first every time."
That's awesome.
To have a, your
How
boss be able to do
incredible.
that.
I mean,
Oh,
how many
amazing.
people can say that?
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
a lot. Not a lot. And,
Exactly.
We need more women supporting women in
Yes.
business.
Yeah.
Like, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've seen like, you just on social media and stuff, like some people talking about like their experience working with women and how it was terrible and they never want to work with women. I was like, I had an experience working with all women and I don't want to not do that.
Yeah.
That's like you had it was a really good team.
Oh,
that
yes.
supported each other. And I think,
Exactly.
like you said, like having that, common denominator of family first makes all the difference.
And we like everybody worked harder than anyone I've ever worked with.
I'm sure because they know, like,
Exactly.
This is our time
and
to
you're
get it done.
happier
Yeah.
and- and I know if my kid's sick, I'm going to be able to stay home. It's not going to be a problem.
I mean,
and it
we're three
motivates
moms and
you.
we've figured it out and we've had delays
Yeah.
with kids being sick, but obviously we're here to support each other and figure it out and make it work.
100%. And I'm working right now on a script with another mom another mom comedian. And it's the same thing where it's just like, we're just on the same page. And it's so lovely to be able to do that. Like, she's like, my kid has strep. Or I was like, my entire family has norovirus right now, except for me. Do you want me to come over? And she's like, that's absolutely fine. No, she was like, no, She's like, we just had it last week. It's no problem. So it's just like, just being on the same wavelength is so awesome.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel like, unfortunately, whether it's a woman or a man in a position of power like that, running a company, it's just usually not like that.
Yeah.
So that really is wonderful.
Yeah. Thankfully, I haven't had. So far now, I've worked mostly with parents, and it's been really good. The comedy team I'm on now is a lot younger women, which it's also. I mean, they're just like hungry and smart, so like they're picking up any of my slack that I have. So it's really fun. And I mean, it's not anything weird like that, but.
No, that's
Yeah, it's
great.
fun
And
to
then
work
you
on.
can kind of be that role model and, maybe they start a family. You can be that person to say, hey, it's okay.
I'm still working.
Yeah.
I have kids.
I think for me, the most important thing was when I was 19, I did a women's comedy seminar with like some people, like women working in comedy, and it was great. And unanimously across the board, they said, you can't have kids and do comedy.
Wow.
And that was devastating.
Wow.
Devastating.
Especially
I was
so
like,
young to hear that.
I
You're like,
know.
wait,
I was
what?
like, can I not do this? Like, what
Yeah.
should I do? And thankfully, like, I just kind of was like, I wasn't. I took it to heart, and I still think about it to this
Yeah.
day. But thank God that didn't
You
end up
proved
being
them wrong.
true.
So like, fuck that shit. I'll show you.
And there's so many more moms in comedy now too, like stand-ups. Like back then, there was no. You really,
Well, Ali Wang or Wang.
yeah, does her pregnant specials and everything like that.
yeah.
Like, it's really cool. Rosebud Baker, I think, just had a baby too.
Whitney,
Whitney Cummings.
yes.
Literally, she's going on tour right now
Yeah.
with her kids. So
It's cool to see that. Like as a mom, I'm like, oh, they're still funny and like.
also, it's
Yeah.
funny. It's universal. Like
Yeah.
whether you have kids or not, you have parents. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And hearing things from their point of view is so funny.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
have a family.
Yeah.
If you don't have a family, I don't know what you
And
think
if
is
you
right.
can't laugh at the shit that you got to go through,
Oh my god.
Yeah, it gives you more
make
material.
fun of it.
Yeah.
I mean, surviving motherhood's hard. So like finding the comedy in it is just.
Oh yeah, it's important.
Necessary.
You die if you can't laugh at it. Like insane. Like
Do you have your favorite like sketch or thing that you wrote about for?
This is gonna be so silly, and it's because I had to fight for it a little bit. It's hard to explain, but literally, it was like one of those like, what's the difference in these two pictures? And it was just two moms with a baby, and it was like, what's the difference? And it's like, can you find it? Like, are you getting warmer? And it's just like, this mom has a UTI. And so it was like, because it was the exact same picture, and I thought that was so silly. And people were like, but UTIs aren't comfortable. I was like, I know.
Yeah, and that's the stuff we go through all the time.
uncomfortable.
You can't see the difference.
We still show up.
Yeah, exactly.
That made me, and like the woman who did the voiceover of it just has like this really fun, like really positive voice. So it's my favorite thing.
All
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
How are you finding the content, or for your upcoming show?
So I actually worked with this woman, Carolyn Castiglia, who's another mom comic, which you guys will laugh at this because I feel like we're all similar ages. we worked on, it was Getting a New 10 Minutes was the group that we were together. So everything was fresh, new, 10 minutes. And I was like, I feel like I always have to start with like explaining that I have 3 kids, because for a long time it was jarring that I had so many kids because I had my daughter at 22. Right. And she's like, I don't think it's weird. And I was like, thanks, Caroline. And then it turns out she is my age and her daughter's even older than mine. So she's like, no, this isn't weird. This isn't weird at all.
Yeah, because I guess when you were in your like late 20s, people were just starting to have kids.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, I have an 8-year-old. Yeah.
I know. We were talking last night. I just went to middle school orientation last night. And I was like, oh my God, I'm not going to have any kids in grammar school. And some of my friends still don't have kids in grammar school yet.
Yeah.
You know? So it's like, well, maybe we'll have the advice for everybody. Well, learn from our mistakes.
You and your hubby are going to be posting.
You'll be drinking on a beach somewhere.
We're going to Spain this summer, just the 2 of us.
No kids.
Yeah.
Like, how much easier is it to leave kids when they're older?
Yes.
Just little baby.
100%. I mean, my mom might like say different. Well, I mean, definitely because they're older, but she's like down for the count. Like afterwards, I'm like, Mom, go sleep for 4 days.
She's like exhausted. And your mom had 4 kids.
Yeah. She's done. She's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
But it comes to a point where you're like, I don't want a mom anymore.
Exactly. She's like, no. Yeah. She enjoys that she comes over and then leaves.
Has your family been really supportive over your comedy?
I mean, they always show up for me. Right. My husband is like #1 fan. He's like, you have to go do this. Like, do your writing, do this, do that. Like, he is just my biggest cheerleader. Which
is he funny?
He's so funny, but definitely different funny. Like, he would probably die before he would go up and do. Oh my God, no! Like, he is very shy in that respect. I mean, my brothers are extremely supportive. Like, they always show up to all my shows.
I know your brother Ryan. I feel like Ryan's really funny.
Oh my God, all my brothers are very funny. Like, and when we get together, it's hilarious. And that was what my latest, like, what my show is coming up. It was a lot of stuff about my brother.
Oh, like when you grew up with 3 brothers.
Oh yeah, 3 brothers, and like being the only girl.
And you're the only girl.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And now I have 3 daughters. So I was so scared when I found out I was having. So I had the oldest single, and then I had twins. So I was like, oh my God, like, I don't have sisters. I don't know what sisters are. Like, what's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
And I had 2 friends that I grew up with who were identical twin girls, and like hearing their fights, like what they would fight about. And I'd be like, especially because like brothers, like especially as the only girl, like we weren't allowed to physically fight. Like my brothers were not allowed to touch me. And they really weren't allowed to physically fight either. Like that was very serious punishment. But hearing what these twins did, like I remember my jaw was always on the floor. And now with mine, I'm like, no, it makes total sense.
Yeah, I see it.
But the speed at which it goes from like death curdling scream to maniacal laughter is so it's
bipolar,
break your neck.
Right?
It's so bipolar. It's insane. Like I can't. And like sometimes too, like when I always feel so bad because there's a certain laugh that they do that I'm like, this is wrong. And I can't be like, stop laughing. Like, stop having joy. And I'm like, no, you guys you are up to something.
But it's like cynical.
It's creepy.
It is.
Are they, do they collaborate on some fuckery too? Cause like they're twins.
Yeah, do they fuck with you guys or teachers?
They definitely are on a wavelength, and they do a lot of sports together. And this year was the first time they were playing basketball together, and it was like you could just see like they were in a groove, and like they don't play basketball at all, but like they just like knew where they were.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
And they do gymnastics too. And I was trying to explain to my husband, I was like, I think like they can get muscle memory from watching each other, kind of. You know what I mean? Because like they have the exact same body. They're so cool. They're growing at a bit of different rate now. So like one's a little bit stronger. She's probably like maybe like 6 months ahead of her in growth. Just right at this moment, it's always neck and neck. But yeah, they're definitely on the same wavelength. But they haven't done that like in a mischievous way.
Like the switch.
Like, when they were little, they'd come in different pajamas and be like, I'm Kendall and I'm Kennedy.
But you're like, I can tell you.
They have very different voices. One has a high-pitched voice. One has more of a gravelly voice.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So you could
tell it's perfect. It's perfect.
For me, identical twins are hard to tell apart. I have a goddaughter who's an identical twin. Mm-hmm. And every time I see them, and they're 5, I'm like, you're Meadow. And she's like, no, I'm Tessa. But their mom is obviously their eyebrow. Like,
you know something. The eyebrow.
She's like, a mom just, there's
100%. I can tell them apart 100%, except for like when they were little, when they were running away from me.
So
I always had different sneakers on them.
Smart.
And even to this day, they have different sneakers because in sports they need to have their different sneakers, which is funny because we'll tell the coaches like, just call them Ken. Just say Ken.
One of them will respond.
Yeah, they get it. It's fine.
Do they? What are their thoughts or feelings or like about what you do professionally?
I think it's interesting that they think this is like normal.
Yeah.
Or probably, honestly, I don't really care.
Yeah.
like what your parents do. They don't really care. Like they want to do what my husband does, same thing as what I do.
Yep.
They do think it's fun sometimes to like see the videos, but now that they're older, they don't necessarily want to be in that.
It'll be cringe. Is there like
My oldest, oh my God,
Yeah.
like so embarrassing.
Really?
Why are you doing this? Like, and I shot a whole video. And I'm like, guys, this is really fun and cool.
Like, I'm cool. And they're like,
Yeah.
You guys will laugh at this. At ScaryMommy, we interviewed Michelle Obama, and it was on Zoom.
So cool.
And where it's COVID, right? So my kids are all home. I'm like, come in here. Like, I'm supposed to have my camera off. Like, come and witness this. This shit is incredible.
Yeah.
I got to go find the picture. But my daughter, like, you thought I was stabbing her. I'm like, this is First Lady Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
Like, this is like
How important.
the would that you want to be in a room with. And anytime. She's literally face down on the bed. Like,
Could care less.
yeah.
But it's like such a capture of what mom life is. Like, I'm trying to impress my children. They're not even impressed.
No, could care less. And I guess they think that's like so normal. It's like, yeah, mom just gets on with Michelle Obama.
Yeah, first lady all the time. Yeah.
Like at school, they're like, "Oh, your mom doesn't talk to
Yeah.
Michelle Obama.
Michelle Obama. Yeah,
She's
no.
so embarrassed.
That was like one time, and that was definitely like career highlight.
Oh,
for sure.
yeah.
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 That's pretty.
I didn't even get to talk to her. I think I probably said bye, like at the end of the Zoom. I was like, bye, thank you so much. I love you.
It counts.
Are the girls funny?
Oh my God, they're so funny. They're
awesome.
so funny. I'll tell you the joke that Allison, my oldest, said. She'll probably hate that I did this. Actually, no, she's proud of this joke. She goes, why was everyone clapping at the fan on the roof? And I was like, oh, because they're ceiling fans. She goes, no, because they're idiots. I was like, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful.
Obviously, like that is you're inspiring your daughters.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
if
They all
they're
have a
coming
really
up-
good
yeah.
sense of humor. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Funny, like what makes someone funny? Like some people are really
Trauma.
funny. Oh, there we go. Oh,
It's so true, right?
100%.
we should be
Like,
really funny.
like laugh at my pain,
funny.
right? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that because like there's a yin and a yang to everything.
Oh my God, 100%.
great.
The other side of trauma is laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how you get through it.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
Yeah. Oh, so I love that. Obviously, being funny and being a mom, I feel like it's so important to show that you're not just. When I think of moms, especially when I was younger, I just thought they were boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and mom jeans.
Right.
Exactly.
But I think moms are so cool.
Oh my God. It's incredible. Like especially like in business and just in work in general, like this idea that like, oh, and like moms are distracted. It's like moms are doing 55 different things. Like if you give me one project, I'm going to struggle with it. But if you give me 25 projects, all of them are going to be great.
Why? Right?
Yeah.
Funny.
It's
So true.
Yes.
I hate that about myself.
I feel
Like,
but
I want
think,
you know
like,
to send
I
to
thrive
me.
better when I'm busy.
Yeah.
So, like,
Same here.
Not
Yeah.
healthy stressed out.
Exactly.
You know, when I have a bunch
Yes.
of things going
Yes.
on, I'm like, okay, I feel good. But when there's not much going on, I'm
Yes.
like, something's
Somebody
wrong here.
had once
Completely
said
agree.
recently, like, how do you, like, if you want something done, who do you ask? Ask a busy person.
Yeah.
True, but why? Because
Yeah.
you're in that motive ready of just getting stuff
Get it
done.
done.
You're just like, all right, add something onto my plate. Let's just go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree with that.
It's just wild.
I think we're so lucky, like especially like us, and then you, especially being in the industry you are, because I'm sure it was like very male driven earlier, right?
Oh, yeah,
and especially
100%.
too, like
Did you feel
like
that?
the woman
Yeah.
you said, like
Yeah.
you can't have children and be in this, which is bananas. You know,
I used to be introduced on one show was next up is a woman. I was like, thank you for clearing that up before I came on stage. That would have been jarring.
Are we sure? Like
I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And now I've been on shows where it's just all women and it's not even a thing. Like it used to be like ladies' night.
Right.
You know, it's just like, no. I mean, they still have that, but now at least it's like,
except a man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no one would
man on
ever
the
say
show.
that.
I'm just going to leave it.
yeah. It's incredible. Like he has the time to come.
Yeah, right.
It's a busy schedule to do stand up.
Did you put the kids to bed first?
Yeah.
Before you came here tonight?
Yeah.
Have you watched that show, Marvelous Miss Maisley?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so much fun. I have to say that and Hacks on HBO.
I haven't seen Hacks.
Hacks is really funny.
about?
It's more the character is like a Joan. Why am I blanking
Rivers?
on- Yeah, like a Joan Rivers type comedian who's like big, huge in the '90s, but like not considered the most funny person today, which is so sad because Joan Rivers, again, a genius writer.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. She was
And it's like her new assistant who is like writing for her, and it's like them like grading. It's
check that
it's really
out.
good. It's on HBO. But anytime I watch those, I'm just like, oh god, I gotta go write. So it's hard to
inspires you.
enjoy them. Yeah,
Yeah.
inspires, but also makes me feel like I'm not working hard enough.
Oh,
Does that,
like
it's
the
not
pressure in a
yes,
way.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you're doing amazing things.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying. I mean, I'm trying to just stay busy.
Yeah.
Like, it's tough and like work with new people and meet new people and everything. So yeah.
It's just
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, connections and putting yourself out there.
And
Yeah.
networking. And I think too, like, I don't know, the more we're doing this show and the more moms we meet who are like doing what their heart, is fulfilling for them. And it just, I think it expands your whole, your whole network.
Yeah, like being authentic.
Right.
Yeah.
And then just attracting that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the cheesiest thing I'll say. Or cringe.
As the children say.
Yeah.
Allison,
Super
it's
cringe.
cringy.
Yeah.
I do feel like having kids really opened up that part of me to like be more authentic and do what I want to do. It's like if I'm not doing what I want to do, like what am I showing you guys?
I love being a
know?
mom made you be
Oh
like,
God,
more
100%.
authentic.
Yeah, 100%. Like
cool.
And also put more pressure on me to make sure that I do achieve my dreams, especially with daughters.
Yep.
Like,
Right.
because I do feel like my mom. I'm obsessed with my mom. My mom is my hero. Stay-at-home mom her whole life.
Oh, yeah.
And then there was an assumption that once I had kids, I would be a stay-at-home mom. And I was like, why did you send me to college? You know what I mean? Like, why did we, set me up for the success to I don't want to say just be a stay-at-home mom because God bless all the stay-at-home moms, but to not pursue any kind of fulfillment for myself, to just find all that in kids. And I'm sure you guys all know some people might be able to be fulfilled in being just a mom.
Yes.
Not just a mom. Oh my God.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
that role,
Yeah.
primarily.
Yeah.
Yes.
For that to be what fulfills you completely,
Yes.
please edit that into something. Good.
But it wasn't your calling.
Yeah, I couldn't do it. And I was a stay-at-home mom for many years. With my twins, very specifically, like I was their sole caretaker, and I was just waitressing at night.
Wow.
For the rest of it, it was just me and them. And oh my God.
That's a
that
hard
was
job.
dark.
So
that was
hard.
dark. Yeah. And I had friends, my husband supported me as best he could, like especially with, a lot of the stuff at home and everything. But still, it's like
The days were long, I could imagine, right?
their days were long. It's 24 hours. You know what I mean?
At
Yeah.
the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Gosh, yeah, that was rough. And then my oldest she was in preschool. Thank God she was at least in school. So like she had like
Right.
a schedule that she could be on. But that was tough. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Blacked out with that the whole time.
So being a mom from obviously newborn phase, toddler, little children to now teenagers, like each phase is different, right?
Oh my gosh. Each phase is, it's so different. Teens is rough. Like I feel like from maybe like 6 to 10 was fun because I feel like they're more independent. They could play, they're making some friends and their activities are kind of fun too.
Yeah. And you could take them places and experience things.
Yeah, taking them places.
Yeah.
I do say now, like, we can take them a lot of places, which was really great. I actually took them to Disney World by myself.
Wow.
I don't recommend
You
that.
and the girls recently?
Yeah, with my brother and his daughter and his wife.
And was it awesome?
It was really, really awesome, but really, really exhausting. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Like, and it was just like throwing food at everyone. Like, that was solving.
I know.
Just have an ice
You're
cream.
hangry.
Just have an ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't ever recommend that. At one night, Kendall was crying. She's like, I never want to do Disney World like that.
Because you're on the go.
Well, it's like, and it's all in the app, and it's like, everything is scheduled.
Oh,
It's
it
like, this
sounds
is
so
too much.
stressful.
Yeah,
It
it was
is.
very stressful. But we can do things like that with them now, which is really fun. So I would say like 6 to 10 is really fun. And now like coming up on 12 into the teen years, that stuff. To quote Michelle Obama, she said something like, the girls turn into teenagers so that you let them leave.
Oh, yeah.
and
And
then
you're like, go.
Yeah, and then eventually they'll come back.
Yeah.
And most of them say, like,
So
most
true.
people I talk to, they're like 22, 23, 24. It gets higher and higher. They're like, they come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that definitely.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Me and my mom used to butt heads.
Oh, my
then, like,
gosh.
there was a point where I would just call her every, like when I was 22.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Hang out. Oh, mom, hey, guess what? She's like, do you, like, can you stop?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to. I want to talk to you. Yeah.
It's so funny. That's when my mom went back to work, like when I was in my early 20s. And we just like call her at work all the time. All the time. Like she didn't have a job. What are you doing, mom?
What are you doing? Oh, you're not here from.
Yeah, she's like, I can't talk right now. It's like,
Yeah.
you can't talk right now. Like my dad used to like go to her work and like talk to her, and she'd be like, I'm working. Like, you can't just do this. Yeah. Be like, well, what am I supposed to do? It's like you're supposed to not be
Figure
here.
it out. You're supposed to not be.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you feel like the girls still want to be seen with you, even though they're becoming teenagers?
They'll still be seen with me,
Okay,
but
good.
like I have to behave in a certain way.
Because I remember that. Like, I
yeah.
didn't want to go out with my mom. Like,
I feel like that is already starting with my 8.5-year-old.
Yeah.
Like, birthday parties, can you just drop me
Oh.
off? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
I'm your mother. I want to see you.
Yeah. Doesn't want to hug or
stand
kiss
there
me
and
already
Yeah.
in front of his friends.
Even
Yeah.
smile.
Yeah. I'm like, but I'm cool.
So Allison, none of that ever really bothered her too much. Like as long as I'm not dancing, I'm not allowed to dance. Like even in the home, I'm not allowed to dance.
Or sing, right?
Sing. Oh, don't even think about singing. Sometimes, like, if there's a song we all know, like a Taylor Swift song, like, they'll be okay with it. And, like, Allison will duet with me a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, don't put that in there. She'll be very upset with that.
Mortified, right?
Yeah, in the car only. Only.
Yeah, when nobody else is around.
Exactly.
Totally. Yeah.
Exactly. But my youngest is still very much, like, wants to be with me, which is so lovely. Like, she's like, don't drop me off. Are you staying? I was like, can I?
It's like, you still need me.
She still needs me. I was like, can you please let me leave?
It's like, Mommy needs a break.
Yeah,
I was like, I need to leave. I don't want to sit in this lobby like while you're doing, your gymnastics. Like, please. Yeah.
Yeah, it smells in here.
It smells like feet. Like, 100%.
They all do.
It's so gross.
Places.
It's so
Nice.
disgusting.
I'm like, thank God they don't wrestling. Like, I really
Oh my gosh.
My
yeah.
son did wrestling this year. Luckily, he said he doesn't want to do it again next year. But yeah,
Like it's sweaty and
hot
smelly.
and sweaty and
Yeah.
smelly. We made it without ringworm, so
That's good.
Gunwood. Yeah, that was good.
very nice.
Yeah.
The smell. And my oldest was playing hockey for a little bit too.
Oh, smelly.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
Was she
God.
one of the only girls?
She was training and then she decided she really didn't want to do it. And I was like, okay, but now the twins said that they might want to do it. And
gosh,
honestly, I think it's probably best for their aggression. It's like, yeah.
Maybe they should do wrestling.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that the girls aren't afraid to try like typical things that you would think boys do. Hockey or
We've always been very like non-gender with any of that. And I do everything with them. Like we wanted to do surf lessons and I was like, I'm surfing.
Cool.
100% I'm surfing. I feel like there was one thing I didn't do with them recently and I can't.
you're like, this is my boundary.
Yeah, it was something weird. I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was a cave.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like,
Mommy
I was
doesn't
like,
do
yeah,
that.
I can't do it.
Yeah.
And thankfully Kendall was like, absolutely not. And I was like, I'm with you.
Yeah.
We cannot do caves. But yeah, I try to do everything with them. And my husband's like, I will rest. I don't need to do that. We did surf lessons in Wildwood, which Surftopia in Wildwood, shout you guys out. You guys are awesome. They were laughing. They're like, how come you don't surf? And then during the whole lesson, he was literally just sitting in a beach chair like this. And I was like, I get it.
Wait, shouldn't this be reversed? I want to lounge.
Yeah.
You should
Yeah,
be
yeah.
here
It's like
with
I
them.
get it. So yeah, I try to do everything with them and push them to do, everything that they want to do. So
Yeah, no boundaries.
exactly.
Especially like you did, like 19 doing comedy. And when I think of comedy, I think of a lot of male comedies, but you did it, and that's amazing. And you showed them, like, whatever you dream or want to do, just go for it.
Oh yeah, and I don't like to be like, oh, girls can do anything because it's like hey, you don't want to think that you couldn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's actually like Sarah Silverman who had a joke that was, don't say like girls can do anything because up until that point they never thought that they couldn't until you said it.
True.
Oh my God, isn't that true? You put it in their head.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Very interesting.
I know. To be careful with the way we talk to ourselves, right?
Oh gosh, that's a big thing. That was my 2024 resolution is to talk to myself nicely.
Yeah. Because they're watching you. And
Oh, yeah.
like, yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah.
I'm very careful about talking about weight in front of them, things like that. And it's interesting. My son, when he's in the shower, he's like, Mom, is my belly fat? And meanwhile, he's like a stick figure. And I'm like, where are you getting that
And
from?
why?
Yeah,
Where
it's
do you
weird.
get
Like,
that from?
another thing, that's
Really?
Yeah, and he's also like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
look at my belly, and I'm like, what do you even mean?
It's very strange. No
like,
idea
little
where he's
boys,
getting it from.
Like,
Yeah.
to-
Yeah. I'm like, no, you're not at all.
Probably
But like,
something on YouTube.
yeah, probably.
Are you scared of like the social media?
They all want Snapchat. All of them are like down my throat. So it's
That is the scary. I know, because it disappears. It's like
that's what scares me a lot, especially
so
because we've
scary.
had some issues with the phone and like the texts and things like that. And working in social media, like especially at Scary Mommy, we've done a lot of research on it. And like initially it was like a wait for 8th grade for phones and stuff. But I was like, no, like they need to, we were in Hoboken at the time. So like we needed to be able to communicate. And like if they were walking by themselves, I wanted to know where they were. But what did they get? Allison was allowed to get Pinterest.
Pinterest sounds cool.
yeah.
She was able to find some. Yeah, they can
isn't
abuse
that crazy?
anything. Yeah. Which I was like,
There's a will,
Pinterest.
there's a way
Yeah.
when you're a teenager.
Yeah.
100%. And she gets on TikTok, like, which is wild to me. Like, I
Wild West. Yeah.
made her a TikTok account so like she could look at TikTok, and like they don't post on TikTok, thank goodness. But yeah, they're like, we want it, and they're like, we want Snapchat just for the filters. And I was like, no, I think like you guys talk to each other on Snapchat, which I mean, we all had AIM. You wouldn't get someone's phone number. God forbid you got someone's phone number. You got their screen name.
Yes.
So I'm like a little
Message
bit.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like, look, it says 12 and up. And I was like, oh, God, I don't want to do this.
I have a 15-year-old stepson, and if his phone's charging on the counter, I'll look and it's like 150 messages from Snapchat. I'm like, what?
What are you guys showing each other?
Yeah, pictures of each other.
God only knows what they're sending.
And I feel like that's such a Pandora's box I won't be able to close. So I'm like resisting as long as I can. I told them once they get a job, they can get Snapchat. And Kennedy's like, I have a job, I'm going to babysit. And I was like, when it happens.
Yeah.
Well,
You actually do it.
Snapchat. Yeah. But then with my oldest, we just said straight A's. If you show me straight A's,
I like
I will
that.
get you Snapchat. So that's where we're at. Right
Yeah.
now. That was last night. So we'll see how we go. Yeah.
That's a good goal. Like if you can get A's, keep the A's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like though once she's a sophomore, it's probably like that.
I know.
That's it.
There's
You know what I mean?
hard like reeling them in.
Yeah, like you really do have access to everything.
Yeah.
You know, 16 years old. Like if you're gonna drive, like
And it's such a double-edged sword for you because like you were saying, social media is a big part of like your blog.
it
your
is.
posting.
It's so hard. It's
Right.
so
Like I
hard.
do love social
Yeah.
media for the good that it brings.
Yeah.
But then it can
Double-edged sword.
be
for sure.
sensitive.
Yeah, and extremely selfishly, like I like to see what they're into and like what are you guys watching? Like
What are you taking in?
what are you guys working on? Like they for a long time they would just sit down and when they would turn the TV on, they would turn on YouTube on the TV.
Yep.
My son
And they
does
would
that.
watch YouTube. And for a while they were doing YouTube shorts and they were like scrolling for like I was like, guys, like you can't, like so we put a code on YouTube, which you could do on the TV, which is lovely.
I was trying to do
that,
I have it on one TV. I couldn't figure it out on the other one
Yeah.
last night, so I just deleted the app and
smart.
I'm just waiting for him to figure out how to
Tell me
re-download
that
it.
because my son, of course, is
That's
on
all he
Yeah.
does.
Like,
YouTube. Yeah.
hours.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
obviously,
100%,
in
like,
real life.
yeah.
That's not.
It affects his mood.
Yep.
Every
Yep.
time he's on YouTube,
Yeah.
he's like nasty after.
Yeah.
It's
Michael too.
that is so true, and that doesn't change when getting the code significantly better, especially because they get like so sucked into the feed,
Yeah.
and it's very difficult for you to move them from activity to activity at that
Yeah.
point. So it's like, okay, time to go, time to do your homework, time to do this, time to do that, and they just like they can't. They're
Transitions are tough.
They can't
Yeah,
transition.
I know.
So putting the code on has been a lot better. But and like a lot of the stuff they were watching was a little bit longer form and
Yeah.
like interesting. And like we would watch together. There's this one girl, Hope Scope. She does like a lot of product reviews and like she's really sweet and like shows stuff. So
There's some good content.
Yeah.
oh, there's some great comment. And we all like Mr. Beast. I'm like, you know what, this is great.
He
Like
loves
Mr. Beast is
Mr.
Yeah.
Beast. Yeah.
I know when I sat and watched Mr. Beast, like, wow, he actually really does give stuff away.
Yeah.
And he knows how to make content. Like
Yeah.
it's very interesting to watch. And like he's at a point, I think someone offered him like $3 billion for his, entity. And he's worth way more than that. And it is.
Wow.
It is. Like I follow him a lot. He's very, very, very interesting. Yeah.
It's wild, like the influence these people have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to me too that like this is, just a random guy in North Carolina who just, likes to do fun stuff that just connected with
Giveaways,
people.
yeah.
And, like nobody is editing him. Like the audience is what's editing him. You know what I mean? Like what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it's super, super.
They'll like it or reject it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And in real time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
But so
interesting.
fascinating. And obviously it's a wild west with social media. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
it keeps evolving.
So it's tough. I mean, I say I'm an adult and also I know what's not good for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Like
True.
your mom.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do what I say, not what I do.
Exactly. I know.
That's the toughest. Yeah.
We all look at stuff too that we shouldn't like just whether it makes you feel bad about yourself or whatever. It's just there's too much out there and it's at your fingertips literally. So,
Yeah.
it's tough.
I find myself like either like I've liked certain like People magazine or certain content or e-news, and then I'm like, why do I like
Right.
get sucked into this?
Yeah.
I think it's so important to
It's
even see what's on your
designed-
feed.
It's designed to suck us in.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all like there's psychologists at these companies figuring out how to
Keep us staring more.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's so strange.
It's crazy. So circling back real quick, I love comedy shows. Like I've like Stand Up New York.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
went to is it the Cellar?
Yeah.
I remember going there randomly, and there wasn't even like a set list. Like there wasn't even like who was going to be on.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, Chris Rock came out.
Wow.
No way.
Yeah, he like used that
How
evening
cool.
as like just to test the like test some new jokes and stuff like that, which was so cool. But I just recently watched, like you guys should check it out. I was dying laughing. Mike Epps.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Comedy special.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like the most recent one that came out.
Yeah.
If you guys are on Netflix watching.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was crying.
Yeah.
Really?
He's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
I love
I'll
comedy
check it out.
specials. I feel
Me
like
too.
after a long day, I love to go.
So
on.
good.
Definitely go for it, like
Love
on
it.
Netflix, because I don't know, a lot of the other stuff is just crap.
Yeah.
And like We need a laugh.
Oh my God, yeah, 100%. And I feel like now, like, you know, not to get too into it, but just there's so much that you can and can't say, you know, and like so much like self-censoring that you have to like see somebody say something funny. It's you need it. Like, you need it
for sure. Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. Like I know a lot of comedians like will come under fire.
I know.
For I don't know, offending a certain group or a certain like, but that's the point.
Yeah, comedy's supposed to be controversial.
If you can't make fun of yourself, then you like just fuck off. Like
you shouldn't watch comedy.
I think it has to come from a place of truth and like a place coming from yourself. Yeah. And I think if it's not, it's very easy to see, and it doesn't end up being funny. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, but if it is like someone making fun of themselves or like really like talking about a personal experience, then that's what makes it funny. We just saw something where this guy was like going off on something and like he was funny and he was definitely flirting the line. Yeah. But like you could just tell it's like this, I don't think this really happened. And I know you're supposed to like embellish for comedy, but like it's too much.
Yeah. And I feel like people can tell like you're not being real. Like you're being fake.
Yeah.
So that's a good question actually. I always wonder when I'm watching comedy skits, is most of it true? Like embellished, but
you know, it depends on the comedian. Like, you know, Stephen Wright does like those dumb not dumb. They're so funny that they're hysterical. Like one line things. Like clearly they're just like, you know, him writing and like more like I guess poetry type comedy. Okay. But there's truth in it. I feel like everything that somebody says, and if there is no truth in it, it's probably not funny because like the truth is what makes it funny.
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
because I can't even write this. It was
how do you even make
so for a long time I was making sure like every single word was true, and like I would like trip up and be like, you know, like there were 3 people in the car and, you know, like trying to like explain, but like this person, you know, we were dropping them off like like so finally working with like better mentors, they're like you don't need to go that true. Like you can just say this, you know, this happened.
Checking.
Exactly. Like, you know, you don't trip up on some of the details. Like just get to the point. And that has helped me tremendously. It's like much cleaner, much more streamlined, which is funny. And also this woman said to me too, like I had a really good joke about my dad, which I'm not going to share right now, but you can, if you go March 26th, or 27th, excuse me, you could see it where I was like, oh, you know, like this happened, but it wasn't that bad. And she's like, no. This is how it happened. She's like, you don't need to be nice to him. Like they were there. How they acted is how they acted. Yeah. You know, like I know you love your dad. Your dad knows you love him, but say what's true. And it's like it's that much funnier. It's not.
Or like if anybody sees it, do you feel like how do they react? Have they ever come up to you after a show? I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. Or are they upset?
No, I think my dad is one of the funniest people I know. So I feel like he does. Yes, he does live like vicariously a little bit like through the comedy. So like when I do comedy about him, I think he thinks it's so much funny. Where normally you cannot make fun of him.
Oh,
like he is just somebody you can't. Yeah, he loves it.
Like baby girl.
I know. Even so, like he loves. He's like, oh my God, I'm so funny. Where like if I make fun of him at dinner, he's like, everybody's making fun of me and like you know ganging up on me.
There's a time and a place.
Yeah, exactly. My husband, he's like full game. He's like, yes, whatever.
Mention him.
Oh, yeah. He doesn't mind it. But the kids now, I'm like slowly taking it back a little bit. Like there's most of the stuff I do say about them is like stuff when they were younger. And like generally, like I do not talk about my teen daughter at all because she's like, don't mortified. I don't exist. Yes. Don't mention me. Like they know that I have a teenage daughter. And like, but yeah, for the most part, everybody knows who's getting made fun of.
And what a shame because I feel like the teenage years are so fun and easy to make
content.
fun of. Yeah. Right?
I think I'll get there eventually, but like we're in it too.
Maybe when she's out of it, removed.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Because I can laugh at myself now as a teenager, but when I was going through, it was like definitely mortified by everything.
And I feel like 10, 15 years ago, it would have been fine because it didn't live anywhere. You know, the crowd saw it, they loved it. Right. But like now, especially now, like I need to put clips on social and all that stuff. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
If their friends find it, God forbid.
God forbid.
Oh well, these kids are brutal. I mean, I guess we all were, but like now they have so much technology at their disposal. They'll take like something you're saying about your daughter and twist it. Right. It's crazy.
My daughter's gymnastics coaches found my TikTok and they were like, "Oh my God, I can't believe, you know, they thought it was funny." So like I'm very conscious of that where with stand up and other comedy it's like nobody's going to see it, and with social media, it's like everyone's going to see it. So that's
I know what you mean.
Tough as a mom,
like being judged by everyone. Now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
but you know, could be worse. Could be an OnlyFans.
Yeah, this is true.
Hey, I mean, you could do that too.
I'm going to do it. Do what you have to do. Yeah,
throw them feet up there.
How do you feel about AI? I mean.
I think I have a controversial opinion. I think AI is so interesting, and I think it's going to be a tool that we use. I think there's certainly. I've asked AI to make jokes, and it can't.
Okay,
100%.
Because right, like there's only so much authenticity it has.
It can't. It just it doesn't know how. Like comedy is in the surprise, and I feel like AI is just continuing to regurgitate what it knows. So like it can't make that flip into the surprise, into like a related surprise. And also comedy's from experience. It doesn't experience anything.
And trauma.
What it wrote was very bad that it was funny. Like it was so bad that
Maybe you
was
could
really
use that
bad.
as a joke.
Yeah. But I do think that it is a tool that will be useful, like in terms of like maybe like taking a first draft and like making a better second draft, like taking like some steps out of what I use. But, I think ultimately you always need to have the creators. And it does stink that like people want to be creative and they enjoy being creative, and AI is like coming for creativity. It's like, why? That's not something we don't like doing.
I know. It's like,
But yeah, I think it's definitely useful. And I think there's certain things that it's like useful for visually. Like if I have a joke that needs a visual, and it's like, for like if I'm submitting a packet or something like that, it's like it's easier to like get an AI image than to like Photoshop it myself or something like that. But it's like never something. I never want it to take the place of something like an artist that I would pay for. Right. It's like, no, this I wouldn't do. I would just like draw it, and like I don't need to draw it, right?
Yeah.
It's like things like that, like things that make my life easier. I'm fully support it, but things that put people out of a job. No.
Same. I hope it's a good tool for everyone.
Exactly. Yeah. Like look at phones and look at like camera phones and things like that. It's like, and us making social media content and videos, it's like before you would have a team of so many people making these commercials and stuff, and like it does whittles down. But you have to figure out how to make it work for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, we still have photographers. You have your phone that takes good pictures, but people still want to hire.
You still need photographers. Yeah, 100%.
So that's awesome. So where can people find you and follow you?
You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram. I'm at Lazy Baby Mama.
I love that.
Yeah, that's my handle.
That's a fun name.
Yeah, and that's where I put most of my stuff, and like information about my shows will be up there. Awesome. And then if you guys are interested in Gold Comedy, the women's comedy network that I'm in, there's submissions open now for our next season. It starts in May. So if you're looking to do videos or write or, just interested in comedy in general, it's a great community. So definitely check those out. That I'll probably have that in my Instagram stories.
How often do they meet?
We meet once a week and virtually, and then we shoot once every 6 weeks. So awesome. A little less than once a month. And it's a lot of fun. But they also have like virtual opportunities. Like this year they're doing a podcast team as well, which you guys are also podcasters. But then at least like people around the country will have an opportunity to do some stuff. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll be sure to link all of that.
Oh my God, please link it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would love to come see you. I'll try to make it on the 27th, but if not, definitely. I can't wait to
I have to
see
I'll do a South Jersey show.
Yeah, so I was going to say,
No, Asbury actually has a really good comedy scene. So, yeah, there's some stuff going on. I was supposed to do a show there, and then it ended up being like torrential rain and all this stuff. But yeah,
you'll have to do it, and then we'll promote it.
Yes.
Bring everybody we know.
So
whatever that was that you had to bring.
The quota?
Family. Well,
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Okay.
Yes, we'll bring the
we
quota.
got you, girl.
Yeah.
So nice meeting you.
Yeah, this was so much fun.
Yes,
Thank
this was
you.
fun. I hope it sounded okay.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Make sure to like and subscribe.